Thank you. Welcome everybody to ACDT number 71. Today's February 23rd, 2026. Yeah, we have a couple of things in the agenda for Fusaka, Amsterdam, state bloat. I think the main discussion point is going to be focused on DevNet 3 readiness. But before we go there, yeah, let's start with Fusaka. Um, Okay, so the first item in the agenda is the Blob DevNet 0 updates. I think Barnabas, for this, you're the best person with context here. Would you mind to give us an update?
Yeah, so Blob.NET Zero is testing the partial cell request, and last week we had a bit of trouble. Some peers got disconnected. I haven't had much time to investigate what the actual reason for all the disconnects were. Restarting the clients just brought them back online, so it's probably not something critical. I would assume that we just don't have enough peers on the network to feed all the columns that we need, even though we have half of the nodes as super nodes. But yeah, I will dig into it a bit more. Right now we are finalizing it and we are near 80%. But yeah, we currently also only have Lighthouse and Prism, so it would be very good if we could start onboarding some other clients as well. Uh, Hopefully, someone from the CL teams can give us an update on how is that coming along.
So which teams do you have now and which ones do you need?
We have Lighthouse, Prism, and we are looking to also include Deku, Nimbus, and Grandine, and just everybody, basically.
Yeah. And just for context, for Dustin, this is for Blob DevNet 0.
This is for the partial cell stuff. That's it.
And you forgot Lodestar, and I still love you, Barnabas. Just saying. We did get implementations going, and we're getting a lot closer. We're hopeful to be there for this week's call on Thursday.
Thank you. Anybody else from the rest of the CL teams? Again, for context, this is Blob DevNet 0.
Yeah, so for Grandine team, we are still working on that. So maybe next week or so.
Okay, thanks. From Teku, is there anyone who wants to chime in?
Yeah, so for Teku, we are still working on implementation. Yeah, I have to talk to Lucas about it. So probably we'll have a better update next week.
Sounds good. Thank you. Barnabas, I wanted to ask, so this is partial cells also the cover, right? The subject.
Yes.
For get blob B3, is this something different?
No, that's the same.
All right.
One is on the EL side, one is on the CL side.
Do you
But
need
they
also
are we need support from each of the ELs to support the partial cells, but everybody has that already implemented in their trunk branches, so that's all good.
excellent. All right. Good. Anything else from that topic then? I don't think so, right? Then we can move on. Yeah, let's go into Glamsterdam. For block level access list definitely 2. I think everything has been going smoothly, but is there any events or anything that can be brought up? Again, this is for block level access list definitely 2. Any findings?
So the network is fairly stable. We're looking to get an update on DevNet 3 readiness.
All right, yeah, let's just jump into that. Yeah, all right. Since there are no updates on DevNet 2, let's go to DevNet 3. I think the main discussion point here is gonna come from actually testing team. Basically, what I've gathered so far is that we are planning on adding EIP 8037 into DevNet 3, but it's proven to be quite the feat to get this the tests working. So yeah, for that, I think Spencer, you have the best context on this. Would you like to chime in?
Hey, yeah, sounds good. So I guess just to give a high level context, so 8037 adds something called the cost per state byte, which is dependent on the block gas limit. And this, for the testing framework, adds an extra kind of dimension that we haven't yet added before. So it's adding this like at a very high level, and it's been quite tricky to update the framework to align with this. So um, how the framework works right now, for more context, you can kind of think of it as being split into three different sections. So there's the normal tests, the static tests, which are like the old Ethereum tests YAML files that we refill. So it's another way that we fill, and then also the benchmark tests. So we have kind of these three different sections that all interplay together. But yeah, so I guess the tricky part overall is that yeah, we have gas costs in tests that are now dependent on the block gas limit. And yeah, I think there's just a lot of files that need to be changed. Uh, we spoke about this briefly on Friday during the gas repricings call. One of the options as an alternative would be to change the cost per state byte to a fork constant. And to be honest, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. I think Marius made a comment on the PM agenda, kind of stating that it would defeat the purpose of 8037, which is true. And I think looking forward in the future, yeah, like our framework should support gas costs changing dependent on the block gas limit. So I have been working on some solutions on the framework to get this working over the weekend, but yeah, I still need to work on it and get that across the finish line. But I think Marius also suggested here to postpone 8037 to DevNet 4, which I wouldn't be opposed to because it would give us more time to get this working. And yeah, this so far has only been updating the framework, not writing the tests. So yeah, and for DevNet 3, I assume like the priority is BAL optimizations. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's I guess the main update from our side.
All right, thank you.
Uh,
Marius, would you? Yeah.
Yes. Spencer, do you have like a sense of how long this would take you to implement all of this and write tests for 8037?
So to be honest, I would like to go all out on this until ACDE, and then maybe we can make a decision on ACDE about pushing it to DevNet 4 if the progress is slow.
Yep, I think that's a great compromise.
Yes, Dragon.
Could we hard code it for the DevNet 3 and then implement the proper version for DevNet 4?
What do you mean hard-coded?
I think the problem is the dynamic gas for the state. It depends on the block gas limit. That part feels like, at least this is my like take from what Spencer said. If this is the problem, then we can hardcode that number and just do proper version on the next DevNet 4. And for DevNet 3, we will still have like something related to AP 8037.
That works for me, but if others are less keen, please speak up.
It would also work for me. I would prefer not, like I would prefer to use the formula, but we can also just put the definite hard code it. Yeah. And I just no matter which way we do it, I just would like to have tests for it before we launch the DevNet. And I don't know if hard coding it will make the tests be much faster.
Why I'm proposing this? Because the 8037 is very sensitive, and it related to gas is very sensitive. So there is a lot of edge cases here. So in my take is let's do as best as possible. Let's have something that we can reuse later, and have like more time to implement it, to test it later. So if we start now, we will have like bigger time frame to test everything.
Yes, Maria.
Yeah, so I think my understanding is also like there's different components to 8037 that may actually make sense to test them separately. So we do have the multidimensional metering component, which is already introducing some logic that we need to think about, tests, edge cases, and so on. So it could make sense in DevNet 3 to focus that part of the EIP and then do the dynamic cost per byte component in DevNet 4. So yeah, I'm essentially agreeing with Trevor.
My question for Spencer would be, do you think going first with a constant and then dynamically, it feels to me that that's going to be refactoring that's going to be necessary for next DevNet, so perhaps it could be even worse. I don't know. I haven't seen the code myself, but what do you think?
So it makes the framework changes a lot easier, which means there's like more time to spend on writing the tests. So I think it's a reasonable idea from my side.
Yeah, okay. So I think nevertheless we do need some EAP PR as a basis on how to write the tests. How do we handle that if we're gonna do halfway the EAP 8037?
I think I have a PR open just now, so maybe I can add the change there, and we can use that as the base. But I'm not sure on what the number should be for cost per state byte. I guess like you can use the formula. I can use the formula to figure out for like maybe like 100 million.
Yeah, so I would suggest using the formula for the block limit we are targeting for DevNet 3. If it's 100, then we should use 100. Yeah, in terms of the update to the EIP, so if I understand correctly, we would now have EIP that would have a fixed cost per byte, and then for DevNet 4, we would change again the EIP. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's my question is where is everyone gonna reference this ephemeral change from, including tests and including the clients, just for everyone to be on the same page for DevNet 3.
Would it make sense to just be a spec version instead of changing the EIP itself, or would that be worse?
I think that's a question for client teams. Do we feel like referencing yields in this time around would be okay if we don't have the EIP changes? Because, yeah. And Dragon mentions in the chat that DevNet 3 HackMD is a good place. All right. Who's gonna be in charge of doing this spec reference? Do we need a markdown document? That's my question. Or can we reference a PR in yields for this?
We can reference a PR. Just point me to the PR and then I will update the spec sheet. And then we can reference that. And I will also highlight it maybe on the top of the spec sheet that this is an edge case.
Makes sense. Okay, so coming back to ills for this, Spencer, does your PR work for this? Can we reference it for DevNet 3?
Yeah, no, definitely. Sounds good.
All right. Seems like we have a plan. All right, just to leave everything clear, we're gonna do a hard-coded cost per byte version for log level access list number three, DevNet 3, sorry. We're gonna use an EELS PR for this. And then for DevNet 4, we're gonna reference the actual EIP for the implementations. In terms of when can we release the tests, Spencer, do you need more time for the changes? If taking all of this into account, do you think we need more time for the tests anyway?
I think I'll be able to get something out by ACDE.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, so tests would be out for Thursday. Is that reasonable for everyone?
Yep.
Marius, Barnabas, Maria?
Yeah, from our point of view, it's not an issue.
Okay. Good, perfect. Okay, it seems like we have a plan. Does anybody have any questions regarding DevNet 3?
Just while we're here, I think I also mentioned, so this is on 8037, something that Sam Wilson brought up basically about how tracing is handled. So I think in the EELS PR we have right now, we've added a state gas and a state gas cost to the tracer. Is this something that EL clients are happy with? Yeah, I'm not a client dev. I don't use tracing much actually, so.
Sorry again.
Could you link the
Sorry,
tracing here?
that is the 3155 change. Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Great. So moving on. All right, let me just touch upon briefly the other EIP that has been included in DevNet 3, which is EIP 7954. Any discussion points regarding this that anyone would like to bring up? Or are we good in those regards? Okay, seems like a non-issue. I'll just go ahead. The next point in the agenda is EPVS, but first let me pause before going into the CL side of things. There's one other topic that's regarding the EL, which is the new endpoint, the testing build block version number 1. Let me just share the link. Basically, Paritosh wanted to see if we could make this implementation mandatory for clients starting from DevNet 4 because it helps testing, it helps benchmarking, it helps several things. So I would like to touch base with the client teams regarding their opinions on this new endpoint and their status. I think also never mind if you guys can share. I think you guys are the authors of this new endpoint. So you have any recommendations, also please feel free to chime in. Yeah. So Barry, do we have any more context on this?
Yeah, there's one design note as to why we want to add a new endpoint to begin with. So typically in the past, we would have done this in the debug namespace. The problem with the debug namespace is that a lot of public RPCs, etc., against recommendation by default expose debug, because there's some functionality with Ethereum RPCs that cannot be achieved without exposing the debug namespace. The problem with adding this testing API to the debug namespace is this would allow you to abuse the debug namespace to build whatever blocks you want. In order to just keep these things separate, we wanted to introduce the testing namespace. It's also just the first RPC call in the testing namespace, and there's a lot more we can do in the future. This RPC call would also help us a ton with benchmarking, because you would then in the future be able to just provide a list of transactions and get a built block as a result. It should simplify quite a few things in quite a few places. And yeah, thanks to the NetDomain team and for Chase for writing the tests and coming up with the spec for this. Yeah, now we just want to make sure that all the clients have an implementation so that we can move forward with it.
Excellent, thank you. Client apps, do you guys need anything to implement this, or do you oppose implementation? Please chime in. All right, there's no pushback. I guess we can make this a requirement. We can bring it up next week also, regarding this the status of this and how things are going. All right. Perfect. Okay.
I guess
Yes.
I just want to make a general. I mean, Barnabas already said this, and I already I actually feel pretty strongly about the merge then talk about requirement thing. I mean, if people are willing to stipulate that well, it will be merged, and it looks like that's being stated, then fine, that's okay. But I'm a little tired of these kind of YOLO, quasi specs, which are like draft EIPs that get required for some DevNet. Like, please no more of those. Merge then require.
Yeah, maybe just a direct answer for that one. We were lacking the ability to generate the tests because we needed an implementation in order to generate the tests. It's a downside of how the RPC test gen works today. There was a blocker. The blocker's been solved, and at least as of end of last week, we have the tests, which is why it hasn't been merged yet. But we will get it merged this week, because the counterpoint is that we don't want to merge an EIP without or API change without tests.
Yes, Camille.
What I just want to add is this is separate namespace. It shouldn't contradict with any feature right now, and any client team can basically implement it without a risk of breaking something else if done properly. And as Pari also explained, there was a huge need of doing that because, for example, for some stateful generations of tests to unlock completely new areas of testing for benchmarking, we needed to use some hacked versions of clients, hacked version of Nethermind to basically proceed with any generation on top of existing states. And this is allowing to use any client. This is unlocking plenty of potential opportunities for better benchmarking, for better test generation. It's already proven to improve by a few times the test generation on top of existing state of mainnet or bloatnet. So these are quite nice ideas to include and implement, and it will allow to improve the testing capabilities of the clients in very, very various ways, like not only just to build a block, but also to trigger the building of the invalid blocks, to help with balls, which Johan is already exploring right now. So a lot of potential upsides and very small negative impacts, in my opinion, at least.
Okay, thank you. Justin, I see your comment on the chat. Yeah, I agree. This is a problem. I don't think. I mean, at least I know you're referring to execution APIs specifically, but I think from the spec side, for EIP testing. Eels has been helping us out to build the tests without any client implementation, and it's getting better. Yeah. Would you mind expanding a little bit on this, or what's your main
I don't
frustration?
really want to derail things. I just wanted to point out that this happens very regularly, and we get caught in this dependency loop where we can't create tests because we don't have an implementation, and it seems very broken and backwards to me. That is all. I think you get it. I think most folks on the call get it, so I won't belabor the point. I do appreciate that it's mostly an RPC issue and that the broader EELS tests don't suffer from that problem. So it seems to be going in the right direction, but boy, it's been a challenge for quite some time.
Agreed. Okay. Yeah. Let's keep moving then. Yeah, going back to EPVS, DevNet 0, sorry. Do we have any updates? Let me see the comment from Justin in the. All right. So Justin, you have a comment on the agenda at the moment, but this is for Fossil, right? This is different
No,
from
that's
EPVS, or
I mean, there's just a note at the top that says that the fossil specs have been renamed to ESI, but there were just some PRs that I want core devs to review that are related to EPBS. But we don't have to talk about that.
all right. Do you need any help or input from the core devs at this point?
Yeah, reviews would be great.
Yeah. And anything else that they need to implement other than reviews, or?
At the moment, I don't think so.
All right, and I see some comments in the chat from Nico. It seems like Lodestar and Lighthouse do have interop for EPBS. And Tech mentions that they can have interop ready towards the end of the week or early next week. Yes, I think that's it. And Prism will not make it in by this week, but they are gonna try to aim for next week. All right. Anything else regarding EPBS that needs to be discussed today? Barnabas, would you like to mention that?
Yeah, so I would propose that we have a realistic launch date for EPBS 0 on the 4th of March. We will do a launch no matter how many clients are ready, but ideally we have at least 3, ideally 4 ready for that day.
Sounds good. And from the reading of the comments from chat, it seems like we will have at least 3 clients for that date. So I think it should be okay. All right. Good. Anything else for EPS? I don't think so, right? If not, we can just keep going. The next item in the agenda is gas limit testing or benchmarking. Camille or anyone else, would you like to give an update on this?
Yeah, so mostly we are focusing right now on repricing effort, doing a lot of back and forth fighting with some failures during generation, but I guess right now we are on a good spot with all the tests which are required likely generated already and some data already collected for that purpose. The only stuff is that new tests which are running on top of state of mainnet or bloatnet are pretty long to execute, and single loop of gathering all of the data points for all of the scenarios in all required conditions is like more than a day just to capture one data point. for all the clients. And so yeah, so right now trying to solve that and see where we can either cut the time of the execution or parallelize more on more machines. So this is being discussed right now. So this is the main effort. We worked heavily also with Mario last week to optimize the generation significantly. So there are some few cool new stuff either on ILS or on generators side. But rather than that, yeah, we are progressing, waiting for some inputs, additional inputs from Maria for new tests. But yeah, those landed over the weekend, and I still need to check a few issues.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
maybe I can just give a quick update on my side. So last week I was looking at the first data that was coming out from the benchmarks that Camille was saying. We have found a few issues on how the tests are defined, like they are not measuring the exact variance that we needed. Like for instance, an S load that is warm versus cold. Like there was some changes that we need to do to the test. So it's still a work in progress. So I don't think we'll have the final or the intermediate numbers for EIP 8038, so the state access EIP, by the end of this month. But yeah, we are working on it and hoping to get numbers as fast as possible.
All right, thank you. All right, so moving on to the next topic, state bloat. I think Camille, you're also in top of things in this topic.
Yeah. So we had a major issue recently with bloatnet due to the scale right now of the bloatnet and the ratio which we put, and some random problems, for example, with Nethermind corrupted at an unexpected moment. We had a bloatnet which went down, but thanks to Philip, we have it back online and is bloating. And as far as I know, we also reached a new goal. I mean, we hit the milestone of bloating specific contract to the certain size, which will be much bigger than the current biggest contracts on the chain. So right now the snapshots collection is being in progress, and yeah, moving forward, we need to discuss how we want to bloat, because seems like this is this approach which we have right now with a network and bloating and clients are going down from time to time is not sufficient, especially if we keep in mind that we want to bloat at some point to 10x or something like that. So that's why, for example, Marcin from our team is right now investigating some possibilities to create a custom tools. Plus, Joachim and Tony are working on the state injection tool, as I recall. So some research around optimizing this approach is happening in parallel.
There's maybe 2 points to that one. The first one is we haven't started snapshots yet because we're still waiting on Aragon to sync up. I think Will asked a few questions earlier today. I haven't gotten to it, but I can answer that. And once Aragon is ready, we should be ready to take a snapshot. We're going to do 2 snapshots, one before Fusaka is scheduled in Bloatnet, and the second one is after Fusaka is scheduled, so that we have both of those states available. But to the other question of how we move forward, I actually wanted to challenge that assumption, because the reason Bloatnet is failing is that clients can't handle the state already. I would actually propose that we try and figure out why clients are breaking right now rather than just getting to a 10x state, because we're already breaking. I don't really see the benefit of continuing to increase the state size.
Well, are clients really failing because of the state size or the amount of state growth?
Well, state size plus gas limit as a combination. So yeah, if we do 100 million gas, we're breaking. But last time I checked, I think we were breaking at 300 million gas for the state, which is kind of a realistic target, right?
I thought we are currently at like 3 gigagas or something on.
I haven't checked
let me maybe clarify the recent weeks what was happening. So basically, we started increasing gas limit And a few issues which we spotted was like Geth was running some invalid flags at all, which were not properly applied from mainnet into bloatnet. So like we are facing some issues which are actually might not be the real issues in plenty of scenarios. Nethermind is corrupting and we cannot reproduce that locally at all. So that's why I was hinting a few times at the hardware issues rather than the software issues, but I cannot prove both actually. So the reason I'm mentioning some different approaches toward test 10x is because of a few reasons. Like we want to eventually reach that at some point and happen in parallel while solving the issues, because I guess at some point we might have solved the issue on 3x whatsoever, and next issues might pop out at 5x. So if we'll parallelize both efforts, we'll be able to verify issues at 5x straight away rather than waiting, bloating, dealing with some instabilities during that time. So it would allow us to progress a little bit faster. While I agree that this is highlighting some potential problems which we maybe should tackle early, but till now, some of those problems weren't strictly related to the issues in clients rather than configurations and some randomness which is happening during bloating.
Maybe there's one exercise to try. So right now, the approach with bloating is take all the keys, put it on one machine that's able to build blocks, and then continue on with the network. Maybe the way to figure out exactly where we break is redistribute the keys equally, and then go to 300 million gas, see if it can actually build blocks across clients. If we're not able to do that, then I think we have a problem already. And to Marius's point, yeah, we are going at gigagas or whatever, but that's only happening because one client is building all the blocks, not all the clients. One or two clients, let's say.
All right. I just wanted to close. When I don't want, I didn't want to close the topic. Camille, do you agree with this approaches?
Yes, sorry, I was right. So yes, actually I agree, but still I believe we could explore something because in case we want to test on some much higher numbers, there will be a huge value in having something which could allow us to test some even bigger
some like
numbers.
local bloating approach does make sense for that. That I
Yes,
totally
yes,
agree.
this is exactly what I mean. Like local bloating, and you can always spin up the network from that point. We know about some issues during syncing when the gas limit is way too high, but yeah, some possibility to do that much more convenient way and much more predictable way rather than, yeah, I guess the assumption was to have the current bloat to be completed already like a few weeks ago, but due to some random issues, we were suspending that for quite some time. So.
Okay. Thank you. I think that's everything for today's agenda. Do you have any other topic that anybody wants to bring up? Needs to be discussed today. Joachim, yeah.
Yeah, there's one point, and I just realized that I should have raised this before. But for the benchmarking for the block level access list, we actually need to fill these tests for Amsterdam. So we need the testing build block API to support building the Amsterdam block, so we can actually start benchmarking state-related tests for the block level access list.
Just come in.
So yeah, I guess for the Nethermind implementation, Marcin already started doing, I mean, not even started, he's having some draft implementation of testing build block with a possibility to pass a fork on top of which we want to build the blocks. So hopefully this will help.
Yes, I have some issues with it, but it's work in progress, and yes, at the end we want to be able to build on every fork.
Sounds good. Okay. Anything else? anyone wants to bring up today?
I can just confirm that Lodestar and Lighthouse are actually interrupting locally on the kurtosis test. So good job.
Amazing. Great news.
Hey, quick. Yeah, quick question. So for those who are maybe not completely new, but relatively new, who are trying to onboard, just understand the tooling processes on better. There's the testing like group channel grouping in the ETH R&D Discord server. Is that generally the place to go to kind of like research and just familiarize someone's for someone to familiarize himself with the tooling processes like kurtosis, Dora the Explorer, Hive, all of that, or is there a better place, perhaps like a GitHub issue or doc or something that's perhaps a little more organized? Just curious.
I think ETH R&D is the best place to, and yeah, we can take it as async just to not hold off everyone. But yeah, ETH R&D should be the place where you chime in. Someone will probably just help you out with the onboarding.
Got it.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Thanks, everyone. I think that's it for today. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see everyone in ACDE this week.
Sorry,